every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring.
My name is Tanya Starks. I'm the curator for the Juneteenth Juried Art Show here in Fort Worth, Texas. It'll be a part of the celebration activities for the 2018 Juneteenth Festival. The theme for this is 12 Freedoms Gained. I want to invite you to register right away and then start creating your unique piece in your own unique way. We have 9 categories in which you can submit your work. We do have cash awards. And I want to ask you also to invite others who you know that are creative to look at these 12 freedoms and think about them and consider creating something of your own to celebrate the 12 freedoms that were gained. Maybe give your opinions in your creative expressions. We have categories from fine art to spoken word to writing to dance to music to instrumentals. And so I want to invite you to register now. Invite other people who are creative to participate. I want to also ask you to lean in and listen and watch how other artists have created works to celebrate the freedoms that were gained. When the last 250,000 African slaves were transformed into African Americans, it impacted a people, it impacted a nation. We're looking at a time period of expression from 1865 through 1945. Take a look at it. Get stirred up and create something. And again, tell your friends and register right away. The deadline to submit your work is May the 1st, midnight. Thank you so very much.
Years ago, like in the Book of Kells, if you see the old Bibles, I'm talking about ancient Bibles, they have a lot of illumination around the scripture. And this is, children are a gift from God. They are His reward. And I've done a border with children in it, different children. And so that's one way. So that would be a freedom, I suppose, of religion. But what I really have today to do is wood carving. Now, I started wood carving not really knowing how to do it. We lived in Tennessee, and I went to a craftsman's fair one time in Gatlinburg, and these old men with long beards and overalls were wood carving, and it captured me. And so I didn't know how, I didn't know how to start or anything, and so I'm self-taught until I met Ron Davis, and he is an excellent wood carving teacher. But I did our family coat of arms. I looked it up. In fact, one time I came down here to the library. My husband's name was Robinson. Last name was Robinson. Well, there are a lot of Robinsons. There's an English Robinson, an Irish Robinson, and a Scotch Robinson. And he was a Irish Robinson. And the crest and the lady that was there didn't have anything to do that day. So she just looked up all this genealogy stuff for me. And this is, I did his as Robinson, and his motto is born not for ourselves, but for the whole world. And he says that he's in ministry, so he said that energizes him a great deal. And then when I did his, I did mine. My maiden name is Hartsfield. And So if you look, if y'all wanna come up and look, it's interesting, like, he has deer on his coat of arms, and I noticed that the English Robinson had, the fleur-de-lis, like they have in, New Orleans, that, insignia that the Saints have, but his is Irish, so he has, yeah, shamrock. And this is a stylized shamrock. It doesn't look like a shamrock to me, but anyway, that's the way they did it a long time ago. And mine has a lion, and my motto is faithful and brave. So it's got this big lion, and I like that. The wood that I use was, I didn't know anything about this, Ron. I didn't know about basswood, but that's what most of the carvers use is basswood. And but I bought some pecan wood from a guy in Louisiana, so all my stuff is pecan wood. And what I'm doing now is a cross. It's really a Brompton cross, and it's in the Brompton. I just look in the magazine and do what I want to do. So this Brompton cross is actually in London, and I had a picture of it. It was a tiny little picture, and I kept blowing it up, and that's it. It's a beautiful cross, and then I just have a lot of pecan wood. So this is the finished product. What happened? I gave one of my grandchildren a girl a cross for Christmas, so all the rest of the girls want a cross. So I'm busy doing crosses right now. And what I like to do, I just like to bang on the wood. It is therapeutic. So I didn't know any of these things when I started, but I learned that if you go up the grain and you flip, so you don't do that. So you learn about wood. Now this is a very hard wood, and so I don't have much. And this is hard. So what I did for all my tools, this is all the tools I have, and they're different sizes, and they have a different what do you call it, sweep. Different sweep, and I just have, like I bought, you don't buy two until you need it, is what I've learned. I bought this one, and I don't need it. So if anybody wants it, I just knew I had to have it. You know, when I bought it, I've never used it. So that's what I do. My husband made me a little table, and I can walk all around it. And that's it.
I am Cynthia Lisa Jackson Lee. And I have to say, all of that. Thank you. I'm a Christian artist. All of my inspirations and visions come from the Lord. About 2014, when He told me to do something, and it was in group 4. And by 2015, I had it done, at least part of it. It's about 4 parts, I only have 3 parts done. So, that's who I am artistically. I am an artist that was gifted with the ability to be creative. I think out of the box. That's my #1 attribute. And most people believe that I do think out of the box. I use objects, paint, acrylic, watercolor, and anything else I can find to create an aesthetic work of art.
Lion. Lion. First smart question. What we gonna do? What kind of lion? Big one. What we gonna do? He said, build a fire. We built a small fire and we stood beside it all night. We told stories back and forth. He was as curious about America as I was about Africa. And the next morning when the sun come up, we were being relieved by troops that had came in through the night. I was getting ready to put my bedroll on the ground and he said, excuse me, Sergeant. Yeah, you sleep here? I said, yes. He said, no, my friend, you sleep with me. And he took me to his hut. It wasn't really a hut, it was a hut. It was made out of corrugated tin and wood. It wasn't one of the things you see on Gilligan's Island. I slept on the cot. The next morning, I met his children. We laughed, we talked, and he asked me, do you have any children, Sergeant? I said, yep, my wife's pregnant right now. She's going to have a boy. His eyes lit up. He said, oh, America's a wonderful place. They can tell you what you're going to get before it shows up. I said, well, kind of, sort of, but I got my mind made up. I'm going to have a boy. And I bought stuff for him. I got basketballs, footballs, baseballs, all kinds of things. He said, you don't have nothing for a girl? I said, no. He said, come with me. So he took me to what they call a truck. He had souvenirs and things. He drove up and he was selling it to us. And I bought a doll. $2 American money. I bought a doll. And I bought this doll and I bought it and this is it right here. I bought this doll and I put it in my cargo pants right here. And the rest of the time I was in Africa, I carried it with me. And then when I got back to where my wife and family was, and we ended up on the island of Guam, I still carried this doll with me. And then one night, in the middle of the night, I got that hot phone call. I had to leave my post and come pick my wife up and drive all the way to Big Navy on the other end of the island, where my wife gave birth to my daughter Amber. And the only gift I had for a little girl was this doll. Now, if you look at the doll, you'll notice it doesn't have any eyes, doesn't have any nose, doesn't have any lips, and doesn't have any arms. And that's because when I finally got a chance to give it to my daughter, she was so happy to see it. She would play with it. She would hold the arm right here where you see this is missing. Used to be an arm that she'd go like, I got my dolly, I got my dolly, I got my dolly. And shoo, the doll went flying across the air. I looked over and Amber was standing there. She had the arm in her hand. Ah! I ran, picked the arm up, and I said, don't worry, baby. Dad is a doctor. And so I got some tape, and I taped the doll's arm. You know what she did a couple of days later? She had the other arm. I got my dolly. Swing, wide. Dad is a doctor. So now I got both arms taped to the doll. And one day I looked and I noticed, and she was sitting there, she was just picking at the eyes. And first she picked the eyes off, the nose off, and the lips off. She picked at that doll. When me and her mother separated, and I ended up coming to Texas, and her mother ended up going to Arizona, I had forgotten about this doll until I went to do what dads do with their daughters, write that check, because she was getting ready to go to college. And she went in her drawer, and she said, Dad, do you want this? I said, oh my God, I can't believe you still have that doll. And she said, yeah, it's mine, and you bought it for me. And what it reminds me of is there was a time that we all carried something with us to remind us of home and why we did certain things. And that's why to this day, I carry around Amber's doll.
where a daughter and a mother or a grandmother and a granddaughter come together and they draw a picture of their ancestor, someone from in their family. And so they each sketch it out, and they sketch it out together side by side. And it's just one of those things where you can see, you know, from two different generational perspectives, reflecting on the past and where we've come from.
Yeah, and you bond and you get closer, and it's an artistic moment, a creative moment where you can talk about your heritage and your past. And so, I can hear you.
He's in the car.
Thank you.
Would you explain what is heritage art and why do you do heritage art?
Should know as much about their ancestry as they can. And one of the ways that it is easy to make children interested in knowing about their heritage is to draw pictures about it and have them attach stories that they've heard from their grandparents, and if they're lucky enough, their great-grandparents, that tell about the heritage of that family.
What I do is help people to immortalize their ancestors or to record their ancestry. I don't know whether you know what ancestors means, but it means these are the people who have come before you in your family. So what we usually try to do, if we don't have parents available, is to paint a picture of your grandmother or your grandfather, or if you've been lucky enough to meet them, your great-grandmother or grandfather. So today I'm going to show you how to do this in a medium that we call watercolor pencil. I like to do this in watercolor pencil because I don't have to hear from your parents that I messed your clothes up and you got paint all over it. Okay, a watercolor pencil is a pencil that's colored instead of being a graphite or a pencil that you use in school that will only come out in grays and blacks. So we have a number of those before you. Kind of shape for him because normally they're a lot heavier than that. We're going to come up here and do that. We're still working around the eye here, you understand? So we're going to come back down. This is going to be his nose on this side. And we're going to run that nose all the way down to here. And then we're going to keep the little nostrils out, you see? Now he's beginning to look like somebody because we're putting in the things that we need to do to make him look like somebody. Okay? Now, let's go back and work on the eyes. We're always going to work on the eyes first, but I'm just giving you some points of reference. Now, if you look at him, in the corners, he's much darker than he is if you come outside. But he also, as he's aged, he developed bags under his eyes. So he has a bag that comes down like. So we have a line for where we thought the eyes ought to go. And so that they would be balanced, we drew another line from the top of our heads right down what we thought was the middle of our outline, which made us have a point of reference for where we thought the nose ought to blend in and go and break out at the other line that we made that was with the tip of the ear to the tip of the ear. Then we made another line that was halfway between that line and the chin, and that became the line for our mouths. Then we proceeded to fill them in by drawing the eyes on the top line. And then we came down and drew the bottom of the nose on the next line. And of course, we drew the line for the middle of the mouth on the next line and filled half of it in above and the other half below, which balanced the pictures.
Okay, my name is Rita Jo Sanders, and as you heard, I am from California. I come from a family of artisans, and we've been in the interiors. We're custom interior artists, and we do high-end homes. And we're apprenticed under my dad, who was a sharecropper in Arkansas, and he was self-taught. He moved from Arkansas to California, and a friend of his got him a job as a sander. And with that, we all actually started working under him. My parents together put together a business, and we all worked under them. And I say that to say that my art pretty much comes from the techniques. A lot of them come from doing furniture, and not only doing furniture, but doing murals and sewing, and everything kind of gets incorporated into my paintings. The fashion, of course, Aunt Willie Mae at 94 did have fuchsia hair and does have fuchsia hair, but her shirt was designed with all the colors, because a lot of times when people get older, they wear a lot of stuff. So I painted that. I painted her shirt, so she's very fashionable. But anyway, the meaning of this painting, the painting is called The Storyteller. And it's a storyteller because this is a story pretty much of her life in America. As a sharecropper, they were cotton pickers. And these are the people who are here that she's pretty much telling the stories about. These are spirits pretty much, and she loves strawberry soda, as a lot of people did back in the day. It was a knee-high strawberry soda. And these are the bowls that the cotton sat in, and I did not know anything about cotton until my parents used to take us down south from California every year. And one time they stopped and they allowed us to get out and pick cotton. And we all had a little brown bag, and I think I was disgusted because it hurt my fingers. And I didn't know anything about slavery because it really wasn't taught in my school. But I found out that as it was in my hands, that you had to take that cotton out of that bow and you put it into this bag. And I had never seen a cotton sack until about 4 years ago when I came to Fort Worth for my first show. And the cotton sack was like 12 feet long. And the guy who was showing it to me, I was kind of disgusted by it. So I kept trying to step away from him because it just made me feel the reality of what had gone on in the lives of the people that were actually before me and my family. So anyway, the story that she's telling is of her family and her, her family, my father, and just my history. So anyway, it's a multimedia painting. I use everything. I use latex, I use primers, I use house paints, acrylics, pencil, pen and ink. I enjoy using everything, whatever I can grab to give it a feeling or to give it some depth. If you put a black light on it, it's got like fuchsias and neon pinks behind it. So there's a lot of depth to the painting. And I really enjoy painting. I enjoy art in every aspect. And that's me. Thank you.
We want to thank again Ms. Rita Jo.
Big things and I've done small things, but mostly I like to this way, this stuff. Tanya asked me to speak on joining one of your 12. They did not want the South to leave the Union of the United States, okay? So the war started for that reason. Now people say, well, you mean to tell me that slavery wasn't the cause? Certainly slavery was the cause of the Civil War. And so these are the tools I use, by the way. But mostly I use this right here. This is my knife. And one of the big things I use is this feel right here. This is my armor. I call this my armor. It keeps me from cutting my hand too bad. Notice I said too bad, but I feel cut my hand pretty good. But anyway, when the war started, the South just beat the heck out of the North. The North had lousy generals. They also had no cavalry at all. And in that day and age, if you didn't have a cavalry, you were pretty well out to lunch, okay? In 1962, or 1862 I meant, in 1862, the North finally, they didn't win a war, but the Battle of Antietam came along. Sharpsburg, they called it, came along, and it was a draw, basically. About 50,000 people were killed, soldiers were killed, or wounded on both sides, about 50,000 of them. Lee picked his army up and went south again, and the North called that a victory. Okay, that was their first victory. So, first big victory, they thought. So, it looked like England and it looked like France were going to come into the war. Now, if they had come into the war, they would recognize the South as another nation. And they also would supply guns and ammo, ships, and whatever armor, or whatever they needed for the South to beat the North, beat the United States military, okay? So in 62, at the end of 62, after they battled, Lincoln decided, well, I'm going to issue a proclamation. Basically, in September, he issued a proclamation. It's called the Emancipation Proclamation, and he said, and he issued it to the South. It was for the South, and he said, if you do not cease this.
But I'd first like to introduce those people who have taken time out of their busy schedule to come and share with us today. To get us started is, I like the comment she made to me one day. She said, I believe in lifelong learning. So she has taken that to the highest category and has made it a part of her life. So not only is she a RN practicing caring for individuals and being the dedicated nurse that she is. She's also an attorney, so we appreciate you coming. Next to her, we have law enforcement officer Ken McDonald. Brother McDonald has been in law enforcement for many years. He retired, but he came back. He has a servant's heart. And so he's currently serving with the Grand Prairie City Law Enforcement Policing Services there. So we want to thank him for coming. He serves not only in the police force, but he's an agent in the community. He's also a member of a band. He plays a beautiful, is it bass guitar? Yeah, he's awesome. Huh? Yeah, he's awesome on the guitar. And we also have Miss Imani Pettiford. She's the youngest member of our group. And a lot of times when the Lord gives you one gift, then you could either bury that or you could develop it. And then there were people who were given different gifts and they would multiply those gifts. I like to think of Imani as one of those young people who was given that gift and she multiplied that and she got another gift, she multiplied that, she got another gift, and she multiplied that. She is an art student majoring in art education at Tarrant County College. So, for the sake of time, we're going to get started. And we're going to ask Mrs. Harris Gordon what motivated you to kind of get to the point where you just pursue lifelong learning. You pursued there was something about being in this community, the support of this community, the things that were available to you that got you personally started. And the reason I say that is that our theme is 12 freedoms gained. And so people weren't prepared back then to really take advantage of different opportunities because they had not room. But in talking to you many different times, you have talked about how this community was very supportive and there were different things, opportunities that were made available to you that got you started. So kind of just share that.
Thank you for asking here today. First, I've got to qualify myself. One, I am a graduate of historic I.M. Carroll High School. Now, for those of you who know this community, that high school no longer exists, along with a number of other high schools. But we, as the I.M. Carroll alumni, have been able to marshal the forces in the community to at least have a presence. So there's an elementary school. We lost many of our schools. Como had a high school, Northside had a high school. Dunbar remains. So I guess it's the mighty, mighty Dunbarites who prevailed in the end. Back in that era, teachers believed that they had a calling, an avocation. There was a great desire to pass on what they gained on to their students. As Black people at that time, they were restricted in the opportunities that were available. They never saw themselves as the president of the United States of America, but as we can recall all of the images there in Grant Park in Chicago, you can see the faces of many people very emotional because they could see how far we have come from a cotton patch and bloody fingers pulling cotton, just pressing into destiny. And so those teachers encouraged me to excel. And I'm sure they encourage many of you to excel. I've got a junior high school, now artist, who at one point was a college graduate dealing in the area of fashion, which she still dabbles in, but now she recognizes that talent of art. Cynthia Jackson Lee, or Cletha. So she reached back to one of her teachers. So those teachers who were giving then are still giving now if they live. They have that same mentality. They were the same encouragers and motivators. They did not hold back what they learned. They wanted to share it. So those were the teachers who got a bag of clothes, shoes, socks, and if you didn't come appropriately dressed, they would conveniently show up at your house with a bag of something to help you not be ostracized because you had less than someone else. Not saying that we had much of anything, because I remember a day when I only had 7 dresses, and that was a lot. You know, you got your clothes at Easter time or Christmas or whatever. So those are the type of forces within the community that existed to propel people into an educational process that allowed you to move from elementary, junior high, high school, and desire to have a high school education. And if you stopped there, you were still a well-educated person. But then if you had the wherewithal to struggle even harder, you could enter into historically black colleges or local junior campuses. Or I had a mentor who encouraged me to consider the 7 sister colleges on the East Coast. So after graduating from I.M. Terrell, I went east to an all-girls college. Coming out of the projects on the east side to an apartment on the west side to a little house on the south side across Berry. What a journey. So it wasn't quite the outhouse to the White House, but it was still a journey, and we all have a story to tell about our journey. So you go off to a prestigious institution. The majority of the people do not look like you, and so then you look back and you think, well, wow, think of all the people who went to the historically black colleges where the graduation rate was always so much higher for those graduates because of the continuing nurturing that went on. So being freed by the 13th Amendment eliminating slavery and the 14th Amendment giving you the right to not have your rights to life, liberty, and property infringed upon, and finally the 15th Amendment giving you the right to vote. And so from the outhouse to the right to vote, allowing us to go to see so many dreams realized in the White House, in the State House, in the city councils. So that's what desire, a dream that has not been deferred, will propel you into your destiny. Having a vision, a goal can propel you into a destiny to be back. I believe that's probably a function of what's going on in the local communities. Because we have attained and acquired, we are not passing on that information to our children.
Well, very, very tough. Very, when I say tough, I mean, many times I came home and told my wife I wasn't going back. you have the police called on you while you're in a police uniform and a police car. And I would tell my dad and my mother, I said, that's it. I can't handle this no more. I'm willing to die for people that hate me. Because I'm not good enough, I guess, for them. And Dad would say, for whatever reason, God chose you. He said, for whatever reason, God chose you. Love, not hate. Love will overcome anything. Those same people that hate me now love me. They call me. They check on me. When I retired, the place was full. The entire building was full. They said, that's never happened before. Love, not hate. Love, not hate. So, we try to get other African American men to come on. This is not an easy job. Not anybody can do it. But we try to get others. And I'm here to tell you, when I pray every day, I'll say, Lord, let me be here to see another officer of color behind and kept. I got a phone call 3 weeks ago. Another African American young man is now working in Kelly.
The secret, you just gave us a big secret. A secret no longer. I'm going to introduce our next speaker, our next panelist, in a way that it's our future. And I'll say it like that simply because we're talking about generations, only about 6 or 7 generations to where you are. Most people who do genealogy can go back like hundreds and hundreds, and we're talking centuries to do their genealogical tree. But we were not as fortunate. But what is really interesting with young people today, they are interested in their past. They would like to know where this grandmother came from, where did this grandfather come from, where did I get this talent to sing? Because I have vocal cords that I know that I didn't create, and I have talent and speaking ability that I know I didn't create. So it's really interesting when you see a young person that is reaching back to learn as much as they can. And when they learn as much as they can about their heritage, it is reflected in their art. She's talented not only with pencil and pen, but she's talented because she sings well, but most of all, she loves the Lord. So I'm going to have Ms. Pettigrew, Molly Pettigrew, tell us pretty much how did she get motivated to follow her passion, and her passion is art.
Thank you. Ms. Pettigrew. What motivates me in my art? Well, you mentioned before you even started about how I changed my major. And my major was definitely, I was so certain I was gonna be a cardiothoracic surgeon. I said it in my mind. I said I can see myself doing it. I'm not afraid to dissect anything. I'm gonna do this. And I focused on that point, but my parents just kind of let me, make my own decisions. Because as parents, you gotta step back and let your child find their way. And as I look back and reflect on that, I know that, they know exactly who I am, so I feel like they gave me time to figure out, that teacher, that art teacher who taught me about Frida Kahlo back in 2nd grade was actually a really memorable time, and there's a reason why I remember the painting, even when I was young, seeing this woman in reflection and holding her own heart, and to hear her story, it stuck with me. It's amazing to look at artists that are already out there, and Black artists, Black female artists, female artists on an international scale are really captivating to me, as well as a look into our ancient history is what I'm like really interested in, because you know the symbols that circulate now in a modern style has an ancient history, and I'm really intrigued by how I can channel some of the history that I've learned that I like to look into my art and put my own twist into it and my own outlook and my own perspective on how I take in this information. And so what motivates me is just all of the trailblazers, all of the women who have always told me, you should keep on drawing, keep on painting, even though I couldn't see it. And they saw it, and so I just had to make a conscious effort to just stay motivated. I mean, that's like something that a lot of people, they don't tell you that it's not easy to stay motivated, that you consciously have to tell yourself, this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna stick with it.
Lift every
And
voice
so,
and
definitely,
sing till earth and heaven.
Number 3 to them. Well, these folk were working in the field, and I ain't too sure that there was a whole lot of them probably that learned about it, except he took the order and nailed it to the door of Reedy Chapel, African Methodist Episcopal Church. And when the people came in the afternoon and somebody read it to them, they started celebrating, and we've been celebrating ever since.
Amen.
Now, the festival and all the good things and the parades, and you've got one of these right here that tells you all the stuff we plan to do and stuff we've done before. But there is more to it than the festival. We have positively got to make our young people and their parents know that a people, if they don't know where they came from, they don't know where they're going.
Amen.
And if they don't know their history, how can they know where they're going to go? So it's up to us, and I keep knocking and banging and worrying people about Juneteenth. Whether you know it or not, 43, if not 45 states have it as a state holiday. And so we see no reason, there's a national group, and we see no reason why it shouldn't be a national holiday. We're not talking about a paid holiday, but we want people to be aware.
Yeah.
And if people don't know, and I would think every one of you in here would be an ambassador. That means tell somebody else. Tell them what we do. You bring somebody with you. Isn't that something we say, each one, teach one? We can do that. I'm so grateful that she just say something. Thank you.
Till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies.
Themselves. It was a collaborative effort for a long history of getting there. And so that's why it's not just an African American holiday, it is a holiday for all people. And then when we can find ourselves in it, then the unity will come. And so that's why, we don't want it to just be barbecue and watermelon and music. There's art. And not that music's not an art, but there's expression past just the music. And so I want to thank you, Tanya, for always doing whatever you do in excellence. And for the guys that are here and for those that will be watching it via the simulcast online and submitting their artwork, welcome to the 2018 Full Work Juneteenth.